Welcome back to another episode of Whether or Not. I'm your host, Jonathan Domow, joined by our forecaster, Frank Gargione. Frank, it's been warm recently. Can we expect that trend to continue?
Yes, we can, as high pressure will be dominating our region over the next couple of days, keeping things dry, but keeping those temperatures well above average for this time of year. If you like the warm weather, we got good news for you.
Thank you for that sneak peek. We'll look at Frank's forecast in just a moment, but first, nature in the news.
Quote. A powerful 6.9 magnitude earthquake struck the central Philippines Tuesday night, rattling communities close to Tacloban and Cebu, with aftershocks being felt around the country. At least 69 people have died, with officials expecting an increase in the death toll as search and rescue continues. The quake's depth was reported at about 6 miles, which increases the likelihood of a strong shaking on land. The earthquake was one of the most powerful to batter the central region in more than a decade, and it struck while many people were sleeping or were at home. The Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology briefly issued a tsunami warning and advised people to stay away from the coastlines of Cebu. However, no waves were reported, and the warning was subsequently dropped. Military and Air Force personnel were deployed into the region to help support relief efforts. The earthquake comes after Cebu and other provinces are still recovering from a tropical storm that battered the central region last Friday, leaving at least 27 people dead, mostly due to drownings and falling trees, while knocking out power in entire cities and towns while forcing the evacuation of tens of thousands of people.
Sudden warming in Antarctica is causing rare and dangerous weather in Australia. Temperatures as high as 104 degrees are in the forecast, all due to a disruption to the polar vortex that keeps temperatures down under in check. Other areas are experiencing flooding caused by heavy rainfall. Despite being thousands of miles away from each other, this meteorological event highlights how interconnected the Earth's climate is and how changes in one place can affect a completely different place. For us in the United States, it's important to take note of how a changing climate anywhere has implications everywhere. A recent example being wildfires over 1,000 miles away in Canada, impacting quality of air here in Pennsylvania.
6 homes have collapsed in the Outer Banks of North Carolina as they feel the effects from Hurricanes Imelda and Humberto. 5 of the homes in the town of Buxton collapsed within 45 minutes of each other shortly after 2 p.m. on Tuesday. A 6th home followed later that night. Wave heights at a buoy east of Cape Hatteras exceeded 15 feet on Tuesday afternoon as winds from Humberto and Imelda created powerful ocean swells that extended hundreds of miles from the centers of the storms. Officials with the National Park Service urge visitors to stay away from the sites of the crumbling homes and to use caution for miles to the south due to the presence of potentially hazardous debris on the beach and in the surf. The collapses Tuesday come roughly 2 weeks after another unoccupied home crumbled into the surf in Buxton. Over the past 15 years, 18 homes have collapsed in the Rowdenfee and Buxton areas, and many others remain imperiled along that stretch. Both Hurricane Humberto and Hurricane Imelda have been swirling across the Atlantic, sending waves that have been slamming coastal communities in the Bahamas, Bermuda, and the entire U.S. East Coast over the past several days.
Big changes are coming to one of the most used weather prediction resources. The European Center for Medium-Range Weather Forecasts announced it will release real-time data up to 16 times more than previously released. The purpose is to make more data available to help provide better forecasts and warning in a time of climate change-related weather events. This action will help meteorologists all across the globe, including right here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, more accurately forecast the weather. The Forecast Center collects 800 million observations a day, and access to that data is critical for managing weather-related risks, especially in developing countries battling climate change. The full range of expanded data is set to be completely released by the end of the year.
I mentioned how high pressure is going to be dominating the region into this weekend, so let's take a look at it in our central Pennsylvania forecast starting this weekend on Friday. There is that high pressure I've been talking about this whole time, starting in the northern New Jersey, southern New York border. It'll keep things dry, but it will not keep things clear as we have clouds down here in West Virginia, Ohio, Kentucky, all the way up through the northeast, keeping the temperatures a little bit down, but still above average for this time of year as we see warm temperatures pretty much throughout the entirety of the northeast, and this will continue as we head into Saturday. That high pressure actually moves off the coast into the Atlantic Ocean, and a new one takes its place here around Maryland area, Northern Virginia, and eastern West Virginia, just kind of sitting there, this time keeping things dry and keeping things clear for the State College Central Pennsylvania region. Also keeping things very warm, temperatures flirting with 80 degrees here on Saturday thanks to this high pressure system right here. Now we do have a system in Canada, cold front associated right here with a warm front sitting just in the upper peninsula of Michigan that will keep things cloudy for the Great Lakes region, but should not be an issue for us here in Pennsylvania as we take a look towards Saturday. That high pressure south and east of Massachusetts at this point, still keeping things very dry and still keeping things very clear. Also bringing more above average temperatures, with Sunday also flirting with 80 degrees, kind of unusual for this time of year. If we take a look up here towards our northeast, clouds sitting around the northeast region, again, thanks to that storm system that it will making its way east in Canada, bringing a cold front to Maine. Now, if we take a look here in State College for this weekend, Friday, can expect overcast conditions and a temperature of 74 degrees. Once again, this high pressure really will be driving up temperatures well above average, and you can see that as we head into Friday night, clearing out here 46 degrees as our temperature, keeping things cool around the mid 40s. And as we take a look into Saturday, here is where the high pressure really starts to settle in, keeping all the clouds, suppressing all the clouds and all types of precipitation down, bumping up temperatures to 79 degrees. It is very unfortunate Penn State is not home this weekend for football, as this would be perfect conditions for some football weather. They will be, however, in Los Angeles, which is almost resemblant of this type of weather for this time of year. Kickoff at 3:30 against UCLA. And as we transition into Saturday night here, mostly clear conditions. Clouds will start to move in from the west, but nothing of worry. Temperatures a little bit higher tonight, 48 degrees, bumping up into the upper 40s for our low temperatures. And as we head into Sunday, it's almost a repeat of Saturday. 79 degrees and sunshine, perfect for taking a walk as you wake up in the morning here, getting ready for some early morning football, as we do have kickoff at 9:30 a.m. thanks to an NFL game in London. But here back home, beautiful conditions for our Sunday. Very, very, very nice weather as we take a look at our feature record by Luke Snyder on Thunderstorm Hector.
Have you ever noticed that thunderstorms tend to occur around the same time of day? You'll often see meteorologists going, showers and thunder expected later on this afternoon and evening. While that may not always be the case, there's one storm so consistent that it's been used to set the time on clocks. Just north of the city of Darwin in Australia's Northern Territory lie the Tiwi Islands. Comprised of Melville Island, Bathurst Island, and 9 smaller uninhabited landmasses, these small but mighty islands play a crucial role in the formation of this daily storm. Thanks to their unique topography, a reliable thunderstorm forms nearly every afternoon between September and March. It's become such a regular occurrence that the Australian Bureau of Meteorology has given it a name, Hector. Also known as Hector the Convector, he emerges almost daily around 3 p.m. over the Tiwi Islands. As one of the most consistently large thunderstorms on Earth, Hector forms due to a perfect combination of environmental factors. The islands are surrounded by warm, tropical marine air. In the morning, dry surface air over the land heats up faster than the surrounding ocean air, creating an area of low pressure and pulling in sea breezes from all directions. The Tiwi Islands are shaped like a pyramid in terms of elevation, with the highest point toward the center and lower terrain along the coast. This specific topography forces the moist ocean air to rise as it converges at the island's peak. The rising air can reach altitudes of nearly 20 kilometers, or about 66,000 feet. As the air ascends, it cools and condenses into water droplets, forming clouds and building instability in the atmosphere. The result? A textbook convective thunderstorm, hence the nickname Hector the Convector. Neighboring regions don't experience nearly as much thunderstorm activity. Southeasterly trade winds from Australia's southern ridge usually suppress storm development over the Northern Territory, making Hector a standout site on the Darwin skyline. The size, shape, and location of the Tiwi Islands create the ideal setup for this daily storm to thrive. But where did the name Hector come from? Typically, storms are only named when they pose an imminent threat to large areas, like hurricanes, for example. Hector is the exception. He is named not because of danger, but because of his clockwork reliability. During World War II, pilots flying between Darwin and Papua New Guinea used Hector's massive cumulonimbus cloud as a navigational landmark. Today, people still gather along Darwin's shoreline to snap photos and videos of Hector as he forms. Despite Darwin being over 60 miles away, Hector's towering white clouds are easily visible, demonstrating remarkable vertical development. At the top, his cloud structure flattens into an anvil shape, offering a near-perfect example of convective storm structure. Hector has become one of the most beloved storms, not because of his intensity, but because of his reliability. Meteorologists count on Hector's near-daily appearance to study the mechanisms behind thunderstorm development. Since the 1980s, scientists have used Hector to better understand lightning formation and updraft behavior. Storms are notoriously difficult to predict with pinpoint accuracy, but Hector gives researchers a rare opportunity to observe one in action almost daily. We've had a rather dry couple of months here throughout the state of Pennsylvania, and October isn't really known to bring much more substantial rainfall to the state. Maybe it's time we pay a little bit of a visit down under to the Tiwi Islands and see if Hector can spare some of that abundant rainfall with us for the next few months or so. For Weather or Not, I'm student meteorologist Luke Snyder.
As you can see, based on that almanac data right there, we are well above average here in State College for this time of year. Now, can we expect that to continue? Let's take a look at our extended forecast, but first, our weekend recap as we take a look here on Friday. 74 degrees with overcast and cloudy conditions. Those clouds suppressing temperatures, but not enough to stay back down to average as we are well above average for this time of year, and it only gets higher as those clouds clear, the temperatures rise. 79 degrees here on Saturday, 79 degrees here on Sunday. And we do have a reflection of that in our low temperatures as well, starting in the mid-40s, 46 degrees on Friday, gradually climbing 48 here on Saturday, in the low 50s, 51 degrees here on Sunday. High pressure will be dominating the region this weekend and into next weekend, but we do have some rain on tap as we take a look at our extended forecast here. First, let's start on Monday. High pressure still dominating the region, bringing temperatures to past 80, 81 degrees for Monday. Very unusual for this time of October to have temperatures in the 80s. Now, we do have that rain system making its way through, according to the GFS, a cold front, which will swing through. And man, is it a refreshing feeling to see rain in the forecast after what seems to be a very, very dry beginning of the fall here. Only really one memorable rain event that I can remember that happened about a week and a half ago. Other than that, beginning before that and after that, it's been very dry. So this is much needed rainfall for here in State College and pretty much across the whole state of Pennsylvania. As we Tuesday into Wednesday is when that system is expected to make its way through, with temperatures steadily declining as that cold front makes its way through. Temperatures here, 68 degrees on Wednesday. As we head towards Thursday and Friday, temperatures finally getting back down to around average, 65 here on Thursday, 66 here on Friday, with clouds still in the forecast on Thursday, eventually clearing out on Friday. Hopefully a very nice end to the work week and a very nice beginning to the next weekend. Coming up next is our Weather Whiz Quiz answer.
If you guessed the letter C, you'd be correct. A falling barometer indicates storms and bad weather. But Frank, what exactly is a falling barometer?
Barometers measure surface pressure. So when we mention falling barometers, that usually means the pressure is falling, indicating low pressure, which usually brings storminess or bad weather, which is actually the opposite of what we're going to be seeing this forecast period.
Thank you for that explanation and your forecast. Join us here next week for another installment of Whether or Not.